discussed yet that I really do think is worth bringing up is that it appears that
subscribe, guys.
at least according to reporting in the New York Times and other major publications, that is very much in line with what I'm hearing from behind the scenes. It appears that we came very close, really to the brink of a war with Iran that has been shut down, at least for now. Essentially, the New York Times was reporting that it is pretty wild that Israel drew up plans for striking Iranian, nuclear targets, whatever exactly that means. Is according to our own Director of National Intelligence and CIA, there is no movement on, like, Iran does not have a nuclear weapon and does not seem to be closing in on one. But regardless, Israel drew up these plans. The plans, of course, Rob, I mean, get this, it's just, you can't make this stuff up. The plans, of course, Israel could not do themselves. So the plans that Israel drew up involved U.S. backup and U.S. strikes as well. This was presented to Donald Trump. Evidently, some senior members of Donald Trump's cabinet were all for this, and you could guess who they are already, as Waltz, Marco Rubio. And from everything I'm hearing and everything that's being reported, it seems that Tulsi Gabbard played a major role in convincing Donald Trump not to do this. And also from the outside that Tucker Carlson played a major role in this. So it's, according to the Times, the Israeli plans were to attack in May. So this is like, it's the 21st of April today. This is coming up in a couple weeks, maybe 2 to 4 weeks or something like that. Like, this was going down, and Trump straight up thwarted it and was like, no, we will not back up. We will not back you up, and we will not help you with this strike. And he said that, I guess they want to give Iran a few more months to negotiate before they make this move. So the threat is not off the table. But for now, at least, it has been, postponed or left in question. So I guess obviously, like, there's a lot of obvious takeaways from this, but, since I've been fairly critical of Trump and been critical of Tulsi Gabbard as of late, I should give both of them credit that at least in this moment, they didn't go through for right now with these, what would have been catastrophic plans. And of course, Tucker Carlson deserves just immense amount of credit for the role that he's playing. I mean, thank God for these few people around Donald Trump. And then it also goes, it's one more piece of evidence that the whole, what you might even call the Donald Trump doctrine at this point, which is essentially something like, it's a great idea to have war hawks permeating your White House, because then everybody's scared of you or something like that. It just seems that it's like, well, it's actually a lot more dangerous because you might end up getting yourself into another war. Although I suppose you could argue that, well, look, he's doing it. He's bullying them and then backing out. It just seems like a very dangerous game to play. But I don't know. Any thoughts you have on any of this stuff, Rob?
Yeah, some things of interest. One is, sometimes you can give Donald Trump too much credit for playing the 4D chess. You do wonder if in this case this was a intentional leak to actually pressure the Iranians of, hey, war is on the table, so it's time to sit down and make a deal. What would play into that is the fact that apparently the United States was sending bunker busters over to Israel, and then they were starting to station the stealth bombers, which also potentially for more strikes in Yemen, but seeming to channel that, the capability of a strike being imminent. So you do wonder if this was intentional of Donald Trump to get this story out there to try and poke at the Iranians to go, hey, you guys better cut a deal with us. And then, of course, you get the classic Israeli line of, if you don't back us now, then this will be our last opportunity to actually prevent it, which is something we've heard.
Yeah, guys, Trump has no choice but to negotiate with Iran, even if it's a 2015 JCPOA negotiation type deal. Israel and Netanyahu, obviously, they want Libya style. Let's go in there, destroy the nuclear sites. We can come in there and inspect whenever we want, et cetera, which is pretty much like bending over and submitting to the West, right, as far as how Iran sees it. So, and Iran's not going for that, right? Iran's like, we know what we could do. We know what the type of damage that we could do. You guys are out of your mind if you try to start a war with us. And they keep putting all this fake propaganda like, oh, Iran, we intercepted all their missiles and you know, this is a good time and they're weakened. And the fact of the matter is they're not weakened. They couldn't intercept the missiles that landed in Israel, at least for the second operation. Even when they notified them 72 hours beforehand. So this whole bullshit that Iran's weak now and they don't have, they had all the cards are in our hands and this and that. All that is BS. And Trump doesn't want to get involved in that, which I don't blame him, right? Because if you waste all your military resources in the Middle East, that's a good look for Putin, right? Now the U.S. Imagine the U.S. having to get involved in Europe now. That's not happening. China's going to look at that and be like, okay, look, these idiots got dragged into another endless war in the Middle East for Israel. Okay, let's go ahead and take Taiwan now because they don't, their military is busy over there. So this will be a total disaster for the United States, guys. And Trump knows that, right? Level-headed people in his administration know that, right? It's only the clowns and the ones on salary by you-know-who, like clowns like Marco Rubio and Waltz. These dudes haven't popped a cherry ever in their lives talking about, wanting to start full-blown wars and massacring people all over in random places all over the world. Those guys are pushing for it. And you see the ones who are against war with Iran, what's going on now, you start seeing them, we saw a lot of them being fired, walked out. Pete Hegseth, now he's getting his chat log hacked into, and now they're probably going to have to get rid of him pretty soon. So the people opposed to the war with Iran, expanding the war in the Middle East, are getting walked out and fired, right? So, again, man, this is a tricky situation for Trump. I expected this was going to happen. That's why I didn't even vote for Trump. I expected this was going to happen, and he's going to be in a very hard place because there's only so much he could do. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below, man. Peace.